Hi. Um, Good morning. It's about 3 a.m. and just contemplating on my life still now. I think I mentioned a few things that I went through, and I'm not making a vlog for a future generation of myself and get a fame in that respect. I don't need that fame because it's of no use. It doesn't give you anything. Even the attention you get, you don't have freedom. And forget the freedom, it doesn't even generate what you call prana in you of it's of no use. And the pain is multifold. I was just talking to someone last night and they were talking about what is pain. I said, well, firstly, it's made. So if pain is made, means it can be either reversed or either it is not real. So one way of saying it, it's Maya. The other way of saying it is that someone made it on you without you knowing or knowing that it is not the wish of your seer. That is pain. That's one. Secondly, the pain that I have is pain of a rishi or a pain of a creator. A creator is someone that creates his own world. This means that you have to be free first. You have to be that first in order to see this sort of pain. And as I said, I got the instruction and go to America, and I had no idea. I was like, okay, a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but some entity was not happy, but they said that it's like jumping off the cliff, that you're committing suicide, you're pretty much set where you are. But it wasn't planned to be the way it is. It was planned to be something much, much different than what it turned out. And then I got on the plane with the intent of taking someone, and I had, Hanuman is, or Hanuman is what? Someone that encompasses somebody, or not somebody, but it's Vayuputra, that it lives in the air, yet is over something, covers something. Or what can you say? Like, in my opinion, this is what Hanuman would be. So I went, and I had to secretly go. I didn't tell anybody. I left my home. I got on a taxi, one-way ticket, got on the plane, and I flew. And while I was going there, I was worried I was worried that I won't be able to cross immigration. It had to be that um, clandestine. And I got on the plane. I went through immigration. They checked it, and then I got through immigration, got on the plane, and of course flew. So what happened in front of immigration is that I had to leave, and then I had to leave at a certain way and reach there a certain way. And I got on the plane. And I sat and the plane flew. It was a Air India flight, I think. And I flew over the skies of course, not Atlantic Ocean. And it was a tough ride on the plane itself. So, it's not a easy flight usually. And then I got on the plane, and then I went to the immigration itself, and what do you call it? American immigration. Got through it. Then when I reached, all of a sudden I just everyone who not supported me, but everyone who not who I was supposed to be like, who would be happy that I'm independent finally. In my mind, I was going to be like, finally, I'll be independent and I won't be able to depend on my family or someone else, and I enjoy my freedom in life and start a new life. That was the intent. And all these people that I helped me, I called them. I was like, hey, I've crossed over. And rather than being happy, they just start to claim things. Oh, I've been there before. All that nonsense started. And nobody wanted to keep me. Nobody wanted me to be there. Nobody wanted me to live in the house. Nobody invited me to their house. I thought, how will I live? And the people who were kind of my family, kid, my ex-wife, who I could have gone, who could have offered me a home, she couldn't believe that I've come to America. She thought it was impossible. Everybody thought it was impossible. Anyway, I took the plane ride, and while I was on the plane ride, I changed my plans. I said I'll find somebody who I can rely on. Called him. He said, with open arms, he said, yes, come. And then I went to his house. And he invited me to his house. He picked me up. He asked about my brother, my family, and he took me home, fed me food with his wife, and we chit chatted. And I slept. And the moment I slept, I was tied to that place. They tied me and they said, you will never go back to the ashram, or you will never go back to India. And then that day morning, I took a shower and got ready, and then I said, now I've reached, I'll tell my family that I'm no longer in India. And I messaged my family, or I called my mother or my brother, and they did a video call. It was snowing outside. I still remember the day. It was snowing outside. And he got on the video, and my brother and my mother were like, how did you teleported yourself from India to America? This is not possible. And I said, yeah. I said, I didn't tell them anything, how, why, where, what. And he said, okay. And something he picked up on how I got there. So I said, okay. And then I got on breakfast, and then I said, I told Vivek, I said, Vivek, I won't be able to live longer in your house. Thank you for keeping me here, but I don't want to be a baggage to your house. And I'll figure out my way, and I'll get a job or do something. And then I left, and my ex-wife came to pick me up. And she was also asking me the same question. How did you come to America? How did you manage to go through all this? I said, yeah, I did. And then my sons were there, and whatever, we got breakfast, and she took me to her house, and she said, she treated me like worse than no, I wouldn't say how Americans treat their slaves, but she treated me in a way that I really felt like I was a third-grade citizen. And I left. I said, I can't live like this. I won't live in this house. The only one. The only one that sort of had a wish for me to stay was my son, Kailash. And he asked me, Papa, why don't we stay? I said, I couldn't answer him. So I left. I So this time I messaged somebody and I said, only one person said, okay, you stay for a day and then we'll figure out what you can do. Mostly 1 or 2 days you stay and we'll figure out what you can do. So I went to their house and he was married. Like last time I went to his house, he had an ex-wife and he was going through trouble, and this time he remarried and he'd asked someone that, can I get married? So at any rate, he's like, one day you stay and don't leave. I mean, don't 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 stay any longer. Whatever happened, he checked. I mean, I was kind to him, and I told him. I started talking to him. I said, whatever was my wisdom, I started being not guiding to him, but being kind to him, and I was grateful that somebody had given me a house or a shell to live. And in the meantime, there was somebody trying to create havoc in my life in America, designing it. Maybe the future he was designing, and where I was the past. I don't know. Maybe I was in the future and he was in the past. Whatever. And then he also told me that he won't be able to keep me for a long time. So I said, no problem. And then somehow I wanted food, so I went to it. I got a number from, I don't know who I got a number from. I said somebody from ISKCON cooks food for devotees of the temple. So she would make food for the temple, and I said she lived really far away, so from where I was. So I called her and I said, I need food for 1 week. I can't eat what is there. I want my own food. And then somehow she was very happy to feed me. She said, what kind of food you want? Spicy, normal, Indian, this or that. I said, whatever you can make. Anything is fine. She made normal food and it was spicy for some people and not spicy for me or whatever. And then I prayed to Shiva and I said, please save me, or please figure out, tell me what to do. I don't have a house, I don't have anything with me. Then he answered. And after the prayer, suddenly somewhere somebody messaged. I don't have a photo. There's a guru somewhere. He's no longer in the body, but he's a bald Punjabi guru that is there, and they call him Guruji, but he's just a normal. I don't know who he is, but he's famous in the Hindu community in Punjab. So their followers called they called the person that I was staying at, and they said, that we can host him, we can keep him. I have a basement, and I'll charge him only this much money, and he can stay. And I said, okay, I'll come. I'll have a fine answer. And so, whatever Rudram I did, I went home, and I was still shuffling through houses and not staying in a single place, and I was watching a lot of things that I was running away actually. As an impulse, I was running away from another impulse in my own Purusha. In that Purusha, I was an impulse, and then my father was an impulse there. And in that fight of how to survive in that Purusha with this impulse, that was my journey. And throughout the whole stay, that was my journey. You can call it impulse, you can call it not an atom, but you can call it, I would call it something else. But that was my journey while in America, because it seems that I either had taken from that impulse, or that impulse was taking revenge from me. And that journey was my journey in America. And that created what was created. So, it was a fight at so many levels. Now you ask me how. And I will tell you how. Like, I slept I slept in my ex-wife's sister's house for one day. That day, that impulse was in the Rishi area. When I went somewhere else, it was somewhere else. And one day, I went to work, and I was fighting. This is the war I was fighting inside. And then, of course, outside up on top. So this war happened in that subtle space with that impulse. Forget the Purusha, but everywhere that I was, wherever I stayed, this was happening. And so one day, to survive, I said, and this depleted me, drained and killed everything that I was. So at any rate, I was saying I was running, and whatever was a temporary fix, but yet the real war was inside. And then somehow there's some Chinese girl started messaging me and talking about business. This is how you make, like, what is business and ethics. And she was very wise. She was like, I said, oh, I like, talked about Shiva. And she was like, oh, Buddha was also Shiva's avatar. And then I said, oh, she's talking about Hinduism and she's Chinese, and then she's talking about Buddhism, all three together. How is this possible? So, say my impulse, I showed him who I was, showed her who I was, and she was happy to help me or take me away or whatever. So when she took me away, I was like, very good, I'm saved. I'm saved as an impulse. And rest of the thing I'll see. Then all this bifurcation and splitting away of my who I was and who I had built as myself had decimated everything that I was. And then when everything decimated, what was remaining also got split. The Rama got split, Chola got split, my heritage in Tamil Nadu, my heritage here, my heritage there, in China, America, whatever, everything was all over the place. So when I saw that, I said, I don't know what I'll do. Okay, fine. I said, now I'll go to my father and maybe I'll find solace or protection there, which is the dumbest thing, because if he was chasing me for revenge, then how can he save me or how will he help me? So he didn't. And then when I went back, they forced me to go back because everything was taken away. And they kicked me out in that way. So when they kicked me out there, I went back. Then he was even more angry. He's like, how dare you take away whatever was yours, and now you left me with whatever, either was his qualification or whatever is his. So he would fight with me as whatever, as light. He would destroy my path that the impulse can take to that divinity, to that place. He destroyed so many things. So as that impulse, I lost every little thing that I am. And then he broke off the paths that lead to what I'd created, lead to God. And the thing is that space where this was created, no, this the beautiful space where I had left my mark as a, I won't call myself a guru there, but I'll call myself as someone who reached out to the divinity, made of something so beautiful, and everyone took it. That path became the guru. That path became the guru to show the path to the world, how to survive. Not how to survive, but how to be. I don't know, whatever. It did its job. And then I came back, and then I had somebody had a light, some yoga and a light, and then she said, I said, I'll fight this. I'll fight with my father again. Maybe that's what I said. And then she said, she left me, and her name is Rajima, and she left me and she said, we'll meet again. And she left. And that's when this fight happened, and then we were fighting in my brain, and then somebody created peace and said, just you both need to relax and truce, and we'll see. And rest, as you know, is history. But, or I'll just clarify on the history that people were like, oh, and people were lost. People like biggest of the biggest rishis and gurus in India were like, oh, we need a new Rama, we need a we need a new this, we are gonna do that. I'll create a new light, I'll do this. We will do a new chapter in history. But the point is, the world was not the same. That is the reality, and still isn't. And they want to recreate on top of that and rub it away and then recreate a new world. Maybe it doesn't happen, maybe it doesn't, but it's still in my memory, means that it is still alive. And that path or that journey in that space, I don't want to call it artificial intelligence, but that is the GPS of what this planet is facing at this moment in time. And I went to Chennai, I went to other places where the eastern seaboard of the world, in the eastern seaboard, same thing happened. The fight, the stuff. But this time around, while I was in India, this time around he got on top. That he won. That impulse won, and my impulse was underneath that impulse. But anyway, as luck would have it, I managed to dance my way through it. with a better knowledge system, better help of the same Shiva, or maybe a older Shiva who helped me this time, and without anyone knowing, and a Devi that also people didn't understand. Some know, right? Yeah. So like that, God comes in your help no matter what. Faith, whether you have faith in that impulse, you have a faith in a Bindu, you have a faith on the cosmos, you have a faith on Swambhu, you have a faith on Brahman, you have a faith, well, that is Brahman, but if you have a faith on Parabrahman, you have a faith on this, keep that faith. Everything is there for you only. Take care of you, whoever you are. And you are taking care of all that is there. So keeping the faith and keeping a grit in your heart, in your being, no matter what, I will survive. No matter what I wish is the dharma, whatever my heart will always go to higher dharma than what it started with. And that you should believe is what is reality. So people can, be in their space and be like, oh, I can wear a hat, a cowboy hat. I have a drink from the cowboy land of United States, and I can be like, oh, I'm so smart. I can make this into a superior land by copying and be like, come anytime. In the next 12 months, come and enjoy this land of the America. You, you think that can happen? You think that can happen? It doesn't work like that. And certainly not in the space or whatever that is, where that can never override. How can it override itself? How can it override something new? This means you want to put that chop on something else. Like one imprint on the other imprint, copy on a copy on a copy. Anyway, so, and then let's talk about Paramatma. So I met someone in an astral plane, and this astral plane was not too high, just a simple astral plane. No, I wouldn't say simple, but one level, not too high, not too low, just the plane. So somebody was doing the rounds, and I was like talking to me, and he's like, whatever he was talking about, suddenly in our conversation. Suddenly in a conversation, somebody shows up as my son. So as the son shows up, and that son is like, I want Paramatma Siddhi. And that Rishi was extremely not ashamed, but he became shy. And then he started saying that you will, whatever, what will happen. He predicted something, unimaginable pain, and then whatever, predicted a life, like a future and past. And maybe of that future and past, of the light itself, became the past and future. So, there's a whole horde of past is destiny, future is free will, is not true. All is free will. You need to know how to access the free will area. That's one. And if it's in your heart, you can access it with determination, with grit, with everything that you want. Even God, whoever is the so-called dominating force that you humans call as God, even that cannot stop you if you have it in your heart. That is the power of your heart and its will. This means it's the will of the universe, or the will of the divine, or the will of whatever you want to call yourself as. The will of Paramchava, will of Devi, the will of Parashakti, whatever it is her, its will. If it is firmly established in your heart, nobody can take it. They can block you, even that block you can right through. No one can take it. And people can recreate and be like, oh, I'm going to make it my way. Maybe my way is better than your way. Or rewrite on it. Maybe it's never about my way is better than your way. You are in peace and you're starting working on that. And how I made it and how you made it is a difference of day and night. Day and night is the difference of it. There is no comparison. The constraints, the secrecy, the war, the clandestine option, I won the world, or whatever, the three worlds, to come and win and offer it to her. So anyway, that is the case. And yeah, so don't listen to all these stupid people on TV that do this, India should do that, this that. Nothing. What do you see the world as? What kind of vision you have for the world? What kind of world you want to build? What kind of people you want to have there? I mean, Tamil Nadu has so many secrets and siddhas that are there still alive and listen to me, and I have actually followed my path again and lived it and are living this path without those overwriting it, without them knowing it is happening, and they have the blueprint there itself. And it's not with these so-called popular gurus who talk in public. It is with those siddhas of the land who have it. It is with the right. They build a culture for themselves that they will, or not, I wouldn't call it Lemuria, but that, how do I call it? Kumari Kandam, or let's just call it Tamil for now. Tamil people will live and have re-established that kingdom wherever it has to. Even under the sea, even outside, on the lands that people live on. And of course, there are multiple lands which are not seen, which belong to this planet. It's all there. It's all safe. So I have no idea what this pain that they built, but it's a pain of idiocracy. Only idiots do things like this. Not the originators. Not the people who have a sight and a vision on the head. This is what I live for. When you live for something, then all this falls apart. All the idiocracies just fall apart. You brush it off of your shoulder. That's the life you should live. That's the life you should make. That's the life you should make for yourself, so that you don't end up in a situation like mine, where you have to live off of different places and different people's homes. I'm not living Modi's life, or I'm not living whatever a Rishi's life, or I'm not living a saint's life. I am just living myself, beyond death and beyond life itself. I am beyond, not the cycle. They call all kinds of things. Some people call it, or some Valmiki calls it the Mrityu Loka, which is the Mahakal area. There's a Mrityu Loka, everyone dies, or this is where they get trapped. Some people call death is associated with Yamraj, where he has laws and he dictates what you get and what you don't get, and then decides who you are. Let me tell you, he won't give Nachiketa won't be the one who will be tried in Yamaloka. Even if someone tries to steal and say, I am Yamaraj, I'll see what he gets. So Nachiketa is the one who made gold on that loka in a different land that is called Tamil Nadu. That doesn't have Mahakal, a Mrityu Loka. That is where Ram is not worshipped the way it's worshipped in the country. It's not worshipped that way in Tamil Nadu. Surprise, surprise, good morning. Or even more, Lemuria or Kumarikandan has its own value system. So all of this, and of course the Israelis want to land. They'll be displaced from the land they are in. They would want to come to live somewhere else. All this mumbo jumbo combination. People want land to live. I said, give them some knowledge. Leave, and make a world that is actually happy. Make a world where segregation is there, so that people live in their own areas, that they feel comfortable, independent, happy, not have to beg, steal, borrow, fight, all this nonsense. This is a planet that should never live. We should either decimate it and make a new planet, or not do this to it. It hurts me what I say.